All right, let's look. I picked a short one for tonight because I knew we were going to be having the prayer time. This is Lisa's favorite song. People, you just said it. I remembered it. How many of y'all know this one? See, I didn't get to fool you, huh? Somebody find for me 1 Timothy 1:15. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 15. This was written by Paul, or he's given credit for having wrote it. Some scholars will say it was somebody that was very close to Paul. So who's closer to Paul than Paul? So he wrote it, 1 Timothy 1:15.
Here is a trustworthy saying that deserves full acceptance. Jesus Christ came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the worst.
Okay. Anybody, can you say the same thing about your own life? Of who I am the worst? And he came into the world to save you and to save me. And so we certainly, it's a wonderful, trustworthy, I love that, and deserving full acceptance means there's no room for argument. We not only trust it, but we accept it, and it's said and done. That's why he came into the world. So this was written by two people, Greg Nelson and Phil McHugh, who have written many songs that have been numerous Grammy Awards and Dove Awards. Many of the famous artists, Sandy Patty, Larnell Harris, David Phelps, have all sung things that were written by these two men. But very few things did they write together except this particular one. And when we get to the rest of the story, I'll tell you how it happened. So these two gentlemen are still alive today and still writing music. First verse says, every day they pass me by, I can see it in their eyes. Empty people filled with care, headed who knows where. On they go through private pain, living fear to fear. Laughter hides their silent cries, only Jesus hears. Do you have a story, or you have a testimony of somebody that you pass day to day, or you pass through your life that you can tell that they are walking through some hard times? Or they are just, there's no joy. They're met that bitter person that just, walks around defeated all the time. And so anybody, any stories there?
We had a friend that was in the Air Force with my first husband, and he always, he was kind of raised semi-orphan. His family, his mother was in the Pineville, and his daddy was working out in California, but he just had a chip on his shoulder all the time. And the last time I saw him was several years ago, and he was not changed a bit. Just the same old boy.
Miserable. Yeah. Janet?
Mine is actually the other side. I heard, her name's Tracy Barnett sing that. The very first time I ever saw it, and I was the person that she needed to sing it to.
Wow, what a testimony. How long ago was that?
Close to 30 years.
Because it was written in the 70s and became popular.
Early.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like her. Mine's on the other side, like she said. When I was leading music at Oak Grove, Deanne and Wade Coker were home from the mission field in Africa. And I asked her to sing that day. And that's the song that she sang. And in my mind, I could just think of these people in Africa that she knew that needed the Lord. And it meant so much to me from her singing it.
Yeah.
Because it was so true.
Yeah.
And I never will forget it. The next time she came home, I said, Deanne, you won't remember. You may not remember, but I remember the song when you were here last. And I told her, she said, I can't believe you remember. I said, well, it meant that much to me.
Made an impact. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? How do you feel when you see that type of person and those personalities and those traits in someone, and you see them every day? How does that make you feel?
Feel sorry for them.
Yeah, yeah. Brother Mike said you feel sorry for them. Yeah. Romans 3:9. Somebody find that for me. Romans 3:9. Romans 3:9.
What then? Are we better than they? No, in no way. We have full proof of Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin.
Are we like that? Because we have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, yes, we have joy. Yes, we have peace. But do we ever get to the arrogant side of it, that we think that we are better than them? That we are better than someone else? You would be in the same boat had you not yielded to the Holy Spirit and had that changed your life, that you found conviction under Him and you gave your heart and life to Christ. Had that not have happened, would you not be in the same place? But we so often talk about them because they're outside these walls, and that's them and they. And it really is, we're all God's creation. We all were created to be children of His. Some of us will, some of us won't. But we got to work on those that ain't. That's a good word, isn't it? That ain't, and get them that is, and but not get to the place that we are arrogant about it. Roxy's mother had a saying. Roxy's mother had a bunch of sayings, but Roxy's mother had a saying that she would say, "I wish that I could buy them for what I think they're worth and sell them for what they think they're worth." Have y'all ever, and it, which is often true. I'll leave that there. That's the only one I'll share with you at this time. Verse 2 says, we are called to take His light to a world where wrong seems right. You think that's our world today? What could be too great a cost for sharing life with one who's lost? Through His love, our hearts can feel all the grief they bear. They must hear the words of life only we can share. What's that famous story that we are to, or the saying, we are to share Jesus with others, and then it says, and only when necessary use words. Have you thought about that? That means your appearance, your attitude, the way you live your life tells the story of who Christ is and what He means to you, much more than you standing there and verbalizing it. You could be lost and verbalize it all day long and have no impact because you don't really feel. There's no life change. There's no conviction. There's no urgency in the things that we are saying. So let me ask you this question. There are some who need the Lord. You true or false? I tricked you, didn't I? It is a trick question. The answer to it is false. Even though we have a relationship with Christ, is that all? Are you done? You don't need Him anymore. You got Him the day you got saved, and now tomorrow you're going to live through you. I don't need God. I don't need the Lord. But we still need Him, don't we? Yeah. Now, it's a different need. It is so much a joy to know not only do we need Him, but we have seen, we have experienced, we have walked, we have seen our faith grow because of our relationship, and we know that there are people out there that don't experience that. They don't know the joy. They don't know what it's like to give something to the Lord and see Him meet that need and how it grows our faith. They don't know that. But if we ever get to the place where we don't need him anymore, we need him worse than we could imagine, can't we? Let's watch this video. Daniel? Pretty powerful, huh? Has a great message for us. The chorus says, people need the Lord. At the end of broken dreams, the things in your life not go the way you really planned them to go. He's the open door. People need the Lord. When will we realize that people need the Lord? Well, I told you I would tell you about the rest of the story. And these two gentlemen are sitting, they are from Nashville, and they were at a restaurant having lunch together, and they noticed just an agonizing countenance on their waitress, and they could tell by looking at her that she was at a miserable place in her life. And as she walked away, Phil said to Greg, people need the Lord. And they both agreed. And they both stayed there. And in the next 10 or 15 minutes, they wrote the entire song based on seeing that lady and the struggle that was on her face in her life. And they wrote it very quickly. Now, Steve Green was the first person to record it, and it was Song of the Year. Steve Green's parents were missionaries to Argentina, and he spent most of his life, even though he was American, he spent most of his life in Argentina. He and his wife are in the ministry still today, but he started singing with Truth back in the 70s, when Truth was a wonderful group. They traveled. Matter of fact, they came here several times to West Monroe area. And then he went and started singing backup, or not backup. He was one of the four that was in the Gaither vocal band. He was the tenor before Larnell, before David Phelps. Steve Green was the tenor for that. And then he began his solo career, was Male Vocalist of the Year. And since he was the first one and made it very, very popular, that's who we're going to listen to sing it for us today. He was one of my students. I taught him how to sing. No, not true. All right, let's stand together. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Don't forget Sunday's homecoming. The church is, I found out tonight, the church is providing the meat and, of course, the tea and stuff. I think the bread, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Bread. And then we're to bring vegetables, salads, things like that.
Shrimp.
We're gonna put the tables up there for the service.
Correct.
We're going to go there right now and try to work with the tables here. The new fellowship hall is set, just here in the old fellowship hall.
Yep. All right.
Help.
We forgetting anything? All right. Mike Turner, will you pray for us, please, sir?